Hello. In this video I'm going to work through a sample test question from the practice test we have here. And you can see that just over here on the right hand side of the screen. So we're going to write a show program which takes as inputs the user's first name and their favorite integer number. So right away, when I read this, I see right away I'm going to need two variables for inputs. I'm going to need one that is a string for name, and I'll need one that is an int for favorite integer. Okay, so I see that in the first sentence. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say string name equals, and right now we'll put nothing in it, and then I'm going to say int fnum equals 0. So again, at this point in the course, I am looking for things like properly named variables. I am looking for things like proper naming conventions, so variables start with a small letter and then have each subsequent word is capitalized. I'm looking for things like initialization. We've had lots of interesting questions about initialization this year. One of them being, why do we initialize things if we're going to write over them? And remember, the response to that I gave you was, you don't have to in many cases. But the reason I get you to do it is because it's good habits for some stuff you'll learn later on. It will help avoid some of the later mistakes. So this stores name, and this stores favorite number. Look at that, I have cap lock. Let's turn that off. So of course, with all these questions right now, I will give you a scanner object. So this line is here. And remember, we call this a scanner object. We haven't actually learned what objects are yet, but the way we explained it in class is we said this was a toolbox that contains special tools to do things. In our case, this toolbox has tools to take inputs. And of course, on the first page of this test, I told you the methods that you could use for this. Remember, there's no need to memorize them. So we're going to come down here now, and if I continue to read, the program should then calculate the resulting value when the user's favorite integer number is substituted in the formula. So of course, I'm going to need another variable to store the answer. So the trick here with this question is I take a look and I see if I take the square root, I'm going to end up with possibly a double value. So that means I'm going to need another variable called double, and we're going to make our variable called result and make it easy, 0. So we have two variables for inputs, and we have one variable for the result, which is a type double. And that's the subtlety in this question, noticing the types here. Remember, when you program, you always have to think about types of numbers. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to prompt the user to take inputs. So system.out.print, input your name. Name is equal to sc.next is the method used to take inputs from the user. So I'm in the toolbox called sc, and I get the next tool. In class, a lot of the time we say scanner s. Remember, this is just a name. It could be anything you want. So we input our name, then we go system.out.print, input your favorite number, and then I say fnum is equal to sc.nextInt. Oh, I see here that I have my dreaded missing semicolon error. There we go, that's fixed. So now we've taken the input for their name, we've taken the input for their favorite number, and notice how I leave white space between these things. It helps me organize what I'm doing. So now I have to do the calculation. So I'm going to say result is equal to the favorite number squared. So let's do this a couple ways. I could do fnum times fnum. That's going to, of course, square it. Plus, now remember, we need to use a special tool called the square root tool, which lives in the math class. So to go to the math class, we type in the word math dot, and then we take the tool sqrt, and we're going to square root our favorite number, and that's going to calculate our result. Now notice, let's take a look at what the error is saying here. I spelt it wrong. It's results. I put results. There we go, that's better. So one way to write this out. Now, what you could do here if you really wanted is you could go and use the power tool in the math class. So I could say math.pow, and remember, it takes two parameters. The first one is the base, which is going to be our favorite number, fnum, and we're going to square it. But remember, the nice thing about being familiar with this method is that you could do your favorite number to the power of 100. And now we want a nice output, something nice to end the day. So we're going to say the name your result is result using your favorite number. So there's our output. It uses all of our variables and it wraps up fine. So if we run this now, input my name is Paul. Input your favorite number. My favorite number is 9. This is a check so I can see I've done it right. 9 squared is 81. 81 plus 3 gives me 84. And sure enough, there's my 84. Paul, your result is 84 using your favorite number 9. Okay. So let's just end this up with a little recap and maximize this. So you'll always be given the scanner object. So remember, this is like a toolbox. It contains a bunch of tools to take inputs. Okay. Those tools are what are actually called methods or functions. So I've put my input variables here, being sure that I have appropriate names for them. And then I've left a little white space to put my resultant variables, so stores results. Nice way to comment variables is to put the comment after the line. So then I take my input for my name, and remember, I'm always going to give you these methods so you don't have to have them memorized. And we leave a little white space to help us work through it. We input our favorite number, then we calculate our result, and then our result is calculated using the POW method, which lives in the math class, and the square root method, which lives in the math class, and then I have a nice output. Lots of little ideas here. I hope this video helped, and of course, whether or not you're in my class, always feel free to ask questions or post comments. Have a wonderful day.